Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio, and welcome to day 6 of the 100-day project. And the only way I can remember what day I'm on is look at my Instagram post and see what I wrote. This is really going to be hard to keep track when I get higher numbers. I'm putting a little bit of gel medium on this plant. Just because I don't think it's really dry. It felt a little alive to me. And so I'm hoping that will kind of preserve it. Who knows what it'll look like in 100 days. Might be shriveled up by then. But I grabbed one packet and it had a lot of yellow and gold in it. So that is the color I'm going with. And I liked the little bit of dark at the bottom, but I want the torn edge, so I'm just putting that ruler kind of close and just tearing the smallest little bit of an edge off. Yeah, so that's why I did that. And you know, some of these jelly prints are just interesting all by themselves. They almost don't need to be collage because they just have all kinds of interesting bits and pieces. But I do put that circle over the top. I kind of like the effect. In fact, this one, let's see, compared to the previous, well, no, I still like the feather a lot. But I like this one. Like, some of them turn out better than others. One that didn't quite make the cut for this set of videos is so far my least favorite. It's the rock. If you've seen my Instagram post, you'll know the one I'm talking about. I really wanted to do a rock, and it's just disappointing. You will probably see another rock if I can find a super flat one. Alright, so now I'm just laying it out, seeing how I want it, and apparently it's crooked. So I can't do straight. I know that's so minuscule, but when you put it on the white background, you can kind of see that. And I have a spot. I'm going to hang them up temporarily while I do this, because I mean, 100 is a lot of little pieces of art. And since I've got that piece of nature on there, they're a little bit thicker. So that, you know, I was thinking I'd put them in a photo box. Photo boxes are 4x6 and these are 5x7. I could probably find something, but I still don't know that 100 with the plant or piece of nature, because one's a rock, are going to fit in one box. So I'm going to hang them. Once I get a few rows up, maybe I'll post a picture or something on Instagram. I have a spot picked out in my very crowded room. I have one little empty cubby that they'll be hanging on. Alright, so I want to put a border around this circle so that it stands out more, and my brown Sharpie is just not working. So I got out my Faber-Castell, and this one looked like a yellow ochre, but it looks fine from here, but I felt like it wasn't dark enough or brown enough. So I put a little touch of red, and then I go over it with the yellow ochre, and to me that felt really brown. So that's what I did all the way around. And I think it worked. I brought out the orange too in case I needed another color to make it more brown. But it doesn't really need it. So there we go. There's our brown circle. And we're going to glue this thing. I really should get to know nature and what I'm picking off these random trees and bushes. And there we have it. Oh, I put a little piece of tape on there just because I felt it needed something, even if it's a pretend holding it. Okay, this next piece is a stick. This is actually You know, in flower beds where they put the bark and stuff, wood chips, this came out of one of those. I was actually visiting my brother who's in the hospital. He's still there. And I needed a piece of nature, so I looked around and the only thing I could see was pieces of bark. And I'd picked up this long one and a little stumpy one, and I was going to use the little stumpy one, but it's disappeared. At least it had disappeared at the time I wanted to create my piece, which was that night. And so I just used this one. I'm like, I got to get it done. It's 11 o'clock. Why is everything so late? Because I stayed visiting him until 9:30, and then it's about a half an hour drive, and I had to stop and grab something to eat. Hadn't eaten since lunchtime. And yeah, so there we go. Trying to find something to put on there out of the little bundle of papers I grabbed for the day. And I kind of like that dark one. And I probably could have just used the whole thing. But we'll save that for another day. Trying to make sure it's straight this time. And then just making it so that that side's torn too. My ruler doesn't really hold it down. It's pretty slippery under there. I need one of those really super thin rulers. I saw one at Michael's. I don't know if it's the same one that Robin McClendon uses, but it was $8, so I wasn't sure if Amazon would be cheaper. So I didn't buy it. Going with my old reliable ruler. Not so reliable. The cork's coming off and the numbers are wearing off. It is my oldest ruler. Alright, so I decide I'm going to have this kind of off-white creamy color with the yellow is going to be the background. Just sort of like that. Yeah. And I still had the circle from the day before just sitting there. I have all my little, well, not all of them. A lot of the little bits are just sitting off to the right-hand side. I keep thinking maybe I'll incorporate them. Well, I incorporated this one, but I'm not sure about the rest of those little bits. I'm going to have a bucket full of bits. I'm going to have to do a scrap busting project when this is all over. I'm pausing there. I think I'm concentrating. I don't know. Trying to decide. Yeah, that's what takes the longest, is trying to decide what to put on there. And they're supposed to only take me 15 minutes, but they're usually more like 20 up to 30 minutes. I do speed them up. These are gosh, 3 times as fast, I think. Just so that I can fit more than one in an upload. And yeah, so anyway. So they're really fast. And see, that's another interesting jelly print. And you probably would have printed that and thought, ugh, didn't print the way I wanted it to. But they sure make interesting bits, I think. Just sticking that circle on. Try to make sure it's laying flat. There we go. Couldn't remember which came first. Which is going down first. And I put the blue over the top of everything. And then the stick. Just trying to keep it from curling. My papers, they're they're heavy papers are curling with the glue. So I have a little bit of Gorilla Glue, so I figured why not? We'll secure it down there with Gorilla Glue. And there we go. That was day 7? Is it day 7? Go back to Instagram and check. Yep, and now we're on to day 8. And another hospital visit. This one was just some standard tests I have to take every 6 months or so, and picked some little teeny sprigs off a bush in the front of the hospital. They have more interesting plants than are in my backyard or near my neighborhood, at least this time of year. Last couple of days, it's kind of been covered with snow. So I put a little matte medium on there just to seal it a little bit and kind of hold it together. Because as you saw, the leaves were falling off. So I figured a little bit of matte medium wouldn't hurt to kind of hold it together. That's the hope anyway. Now, I pulled out, what are they gloss sprays? Dina Wakley's gloss sprays. I bought them, some of them when they first came out. And yeah, that's how they spray. And I did everything they said. Like, I wiped the thing, I kept the lid on, I was careful. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But then I pull out the orange. Have had it just as long as everything else. And I do this. Watch. 1, 2, 3. What? It works? Like what the heck? None of the other spray bottles work, and I forgot that one does work, and I got it everywhere because it worked. So I'm splattering a little bit more of that yellowish color just to add it to my orange. And I kind of did that on purpose. I wanted the background. I actually wanted the silhouette on that piece of paper. You can see a little bit of the silhouette of it, but not really. But that was on purpose. So now I'm just assessing what it looks like and what I want to do with it. And that's going to go in that white space right there. I decided it needed a little bit of ink around the edges to help it stand out. I don't know that this really helps. Every time I do something with my ink pads, I'm like, wish I had those round dome-shaped ones. Maybe someday. All right. Yeah, it helps a little bit. Still don't know where that sprig's going. All right. So I decided, remember back when I did the one with the red paper, if you watched the last video, I had a piece of a grapevine that I dipped in ink and scribbled. Yeah, I'm going to do that again because I had extra grapevine. So I'm just dipping it in there and scribbling away. And I'm crossing my fingers that it would work. Now I'm just trying to get the ink out of the grapevine there. Kind of holds it in there. All right, so yeah, that's a big puddle right in the center. I get that done and I get it dry eventually. And I decide it's really stark. It's really stark. The plant part doesn't show up very well. It's just not what I was hoping for. So I'm going to take a piece of dress pattern paper, just a plain spot. And I'm just going to glue that right over the top of it and mute that down. Just like that. And I'm going to do that with a glue stick. Oops, and there it goes off the table. Taking a baby wipe to the edges because you can kind of see it. And it does dry a little differently, like it has a bit of a shine to it. So I didn't want these little streaks of shine on the edges. So there's that. I'm going to put that piece down. Oh, I decided there needed to be a bit of a line between the book text and the rest of the background. So I just took this piece that's been sitting there since, I don't know, I think it's part of maybe the first or second one. Might have a little bit of that on there. Just to create a little bit of a line between the two levels. And we're going to put that on there. There we go. So now we got to put this plant on here somewhere. I feel like it's not showing up. So, I decide to put some splatters in the background and a little bit of paint on the plant, make it darker. I'm thinking about it. Oh yeah, and I put this dark line along the side. Not sure why, just wanted some dark. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, and then I decided to try and do some splatters after I put my brush away, so I, oh yeah, that's me trying with the Sharpie again. I really did do these on different days. You wouldn't know it from the stuff I'm using. Yeah, here's where I decide. Splatters. Whack, whack. No, that doesn't really work. Whack, whack. That only works with a paintbrush, people. Okay. So my page is starting to curl, so I'm weighing things down to keep it flat. And I dry those and blot them, and they're just kind of a mess. Alright, so it's finally dry. Now I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I still feel like it's, yeah, it needs something behind it. So I find a bigger piece of plain in my book text and just tear all the edges. Now it goes around till I decide where it's going to go. Up, down, middle. I think I edited a little bit of this decision-making process out of it. Like, where should it go? Okay, it's going up there. It's going to go right there. And then we'll add some glue and stick that plant down, and that one will be done. What day did I say that was? Yeah, I don't know either. Day 8. And yeah, just a little scribbly writing, just for the heck of it. It says nothing. It's just scribbles. All right, so this next one, this is another favorite, I think. At least the picture on Instagram. Yeah, I really like it. So I've started taping them down to begin with when I glue the papers on, hoping to keep them from curling. Because day 2 is never going to go flat. It's like curled and it's just never going to straighten out. So I figured if I tape it down in the beginning, maybe that would work out. And this one, I thought it'd be fun to combine a couple of different prints. This again is a different package of paper. I have so many, I could just go on and go on. Well, no, I think maybe by the time we're done with this, you'll start recognizing, if you watch the whole series, you might start recognizing clusters of paper. Because I'm going to have to go through them again. I'm sure I'll do another jelly printing session between now and then, but for now. And I'm liking the sort of natural kind of, well, is blue natural? I don't know. Blue's just my favorite color, so it goes with everything. And this was my attempt at leaf printing one time. Had no idea what I was going to do with that. Now look, just came in handy right there. And the bits of nature, I don't know if you noticed up there, are these little segmented twigs. They are also from my grapevines, but they break in these cool segments, and you can get them relatively evenly sized. So I thought that would be fun to weave with them. So I poked the holes in there somewhat evenly, did not measure, just eyeballed it, and we're just gonna weave them. Yeah, I just went up and down and tied it in the back. Tried to make it keep it as flat as possible so that my pulling the strands wouldn't curl it up, you know what I mean? And I was using that threader, but it's not working. I'm just gonna weave it with my fingers. I'm doing a couple of rows of the green, and then I'll put a stick in, and then do a couple rows of the thread, and then put the stick in. That's the plan, anyway. Oh yeah, I decided I needed an actual needle. It's easier to get it in there. See, that was easy. I have a thread that's poking out. Gotta tuck that under. Won't be noticed once the sticks go in. And that's just embroidery floss. It's like 2 strands from a thing of embroidery thread floss. I just thought it would be kind of fun. And I need to do a little bit more, incorporating weaving a little bit more. I actually did weaving in college. Can you believe that's a thing? It's a thing. Yeah, I discovered it and took it every quarter after that. I have one more leaf, a decent looking leaf on the gel print, so I'm going to take that and I want to put it on there. It doesn't stand out enough, so I'm going to grab a piece of paper. This is actually cardstock, and well, I think that's mixed media paper, left over from cutting my pieces down to size. And then I'm just going to glue the leaf on there and trim it out. So it'll have a little bit of a border. It's really noticeable in the photograph because I've got it at an angle where it reflects the light. But yeah, don't you like that? I like that one. And I'm going to stick that on with a little bit of Fabri-Tac, I believe. Yeah. So I hope you're enjoying the 100 days of nature collages. Um, I'm really liking how they're turning out for the most part. And if you do like them and you're not already subscribed, think about subscribing. And thank you all for watching. Have an awesome day.